So much, everybody, for joining us, for your patience. I'm going to do a quick sound check. I think everything is good. You guys can hear me really well. I want to thank you so much for your patience. We are having some technical issues as we are trying to get onto a new
intuitive body.
Oh,
this is the most important, my loves.
Okay, let's close that. And then we are here. All right, so I'm going to share this. If you guys are on YouTube, please go ahead and share this. And we're going to get started. If you guys are on YouTube, please go ahead and share this. And let's close this volume here. There we go. Hi, Alexander. So good to see you. All right, let's see. Okay. All right, so we have so much to talk about today. And so today is going to go a little bit long because there's a lot of topics that I want to cover. And there's a lot going on, a tremendous amount this month. This past week has been a tremendous energetic shift collectively in the universe. And I think the purpose for this change is it's the beginning of a new unfolding. And it's very important that you pay attention to the dreams that you're having, that you pay attention to your thoughts, your emotions. They're going to play a major role in the way that you develop spiritually over the next couple of months. And we're going to start by kind of taking a look at how it is to shift this entire multidimensional structure into a new frequency. Open yourself up to this new frequency in a way that you can heal and restore the energy of the body. Because a lot of people are going to be experiencing depletion in their energy as these energies are growing and growing. And other people that are understanding how to use these transitions and the energy are going to be replenishing and becoming regenerated. There is a lightness energetically in the universe that is allowing a reconnection, a profound reconnection to source, an opening of your vision, an opening of that intuitive ability. And a few years ago, when we were just starting the pandemic, it's almost as if we entered into a phase of a shadow of darkness. And this was kind of like an incubation time that was really necessary for people to wake up as a result of the world changes and reconnect with themselves so that we can begin to connect with the information that is coming up for us deeply in order to work with that information to heal it and make the necessary changes. As you know, over the past few years, things that haven't been resolved magnify tremendously. And now the way that it's magnifying is actually in a contractual agreement that will reset the human race moving forward, because everything that we are, remember that this world, this universe is a fractal of everything that you are, everything that you're experiencing, feeling, and sensing. So if you are in a state in which you are disconnected from your body, you're also going to see that disconnection, and you're going to feel it, and you're going to see it in the world, global events that are happening in the world around us. So we need to understand the level of importance and the level of power that we have, creative power in manifesting this new era. Each one of you, your thoughts, your emotions plays a role. And any time that it feels difficult to break away from states, from being in, let's say, a funk, psychological stagnation, a state in which you feel that you can't feel joy and love, and you're in a state of survival, fear, and stress, these are the areas that have to be addressed. And so in order to neutralize those kinds of things, the shadow work is, of course, at the root of that. I'm going to share with you today a very special meditation that I have learned in the process of reconnecting with Source and deepening that connection. And what I realized is that naturally, as a result of the programming, it's almost as if veils between myself, the illusion of my experience, and the universe begin to fall, as for many of you. But what do you do with that information? What do you do when you open yourself up to these realms? And how do you use that information for your healing? So it's very important to pay attention to the emotions that are triggered throughout your day from the moment you get up to the moment you go to sleep. But in addition to that, there is a growing evolutionary process of us as we begin to deprogram. This becomes a common thing for you, that we are reconnecting and expanding our awareness as the connection with Source. And that requires us to break away all of the programs that we are separate, all the programs that we are in states of survival, that we are alone, that we are disconnected. And these programs are deeply, deeply programmed in the subconscious mind in such a way that it becomes difficult to embody and harness that truth within us. So even for people that I've been working with for many years in the spiritual path that have reached really high levels of integration, there always seems to be levels in which the mind, because we live in the physical, wants to trick us into believing in separation. So we have to guide ourselves carefully in helping the parts of us, because again, you are a fractal of what's happening in the universe. And this world is experiencing severe separation in a sense. We are going to be deepening certain aspects of separation in which vibrational frequencies will fall out of alignment. This has always been happening. But the way that we're falling out of alignment collectively will really, it will really be felt in that, you really become the master of the experiences that you're having. You become the master and the creator of your life, of your world. You create the world that you want to live in. And when this world that you're creating is based on love, it's based on unity, it's based on truth, this creates an alignment energetically, biophysically with yourself and the whole. So this is something that we want to train in ourselves through our mindful awareness and our reconnection. And it gently just becomes that as you are completely in the present moment. The present moment is one of the most important things that we need to practice, and one of the most simple things, but we forget completely that that is the most important part of this practice. And any time that you start coming into survival for whatever reason, something that is happening external to you, something that you're feeling, sensing from people around you, when you can't come back to the present moment, we immediately come into trigger points of survival. You are always going to want to see if you're prepared for the future. You're always going to want to know if you were safe in the past, or you're going to be afraid. So that fear program, the fear response has to be neutralized as a result of this self-awareness. So how do we bring ourselves more into the present moment at every stage of this evolution? Is by coming back to the basics. Okay, daily meditation in a state of calm, in a state of presence, reconnection and awareness of the body, sensing the emotions, feeling the emotions, being aware of these emotions, what are triggering them, and just being in a state of neutral observation is really the key to a regulated nervous system. So let's talk about the mechanics of this co-creation then. And in terms of healing, how do we heal? Because one of the things that is going to have to occur at this time is we need to learn how to regenerate the body. And the most regenerative life force in this universe is love, because love is not an emotion. As I mentioned many times, love is entire biochemical geometric structure of our expression. And what is happening now at this time, as we are moving through these stages of evolution, is that we are falling more out of alignment with vibrational frequencies that are low, and we're coming into alignment with the natural flows of co-creation. So if you are an organism that is continued to be in a state of fear, anxiety, and separation, you are creating illness in your body and in your mind. Illness in the body and the mind is always rooted in separation, programs of separation. So I want you to notice over the past week, over the past month, how much do you come into programs of separation for yourself? Okay. And the vibrational frequency that we are shifting in the body has to do with healing and becoming whole, becoming all again. Okay. So in today's practice, the practice that I'm going to share with you today is tuning in and breaking the idea that we are not loved. Okay. One of the greatest illnesses of human race is, first of all, not understanding what love is, and second of all, believing that we are not loved, believing that we are not good enough, that we are not accepted, that we are not complete, we don't belong, we're not whole. Again, all of these are belief systems as a result of separation. We have to, in this month of September, because of these cosmic energies that are available to us, we have to revisit those beliefs tremendously, because this will be the foundation that is necessary and required in order to hold space for yourself in the major global changes that are going to be coming forth, moving forward. Yesterday, I had the most divine gift of witnessing the sunset. And there was a layer of clouds over the sun, and in between over the ocean, because I live right by the ocean, the sun would descend from the clouds, and it created the most incredible communication of light language, of codes of information that I have ever seen in the past. I don't think I've ever seen a code of information this way before. And I'm going to share the video with you. I will upload it here after with a meditation. But what I witnessed in this transition of energies is that we are starting a new phase this week. And I think the moon, this moon, played a role, or not played a role, but allowed us to understand, gave us a communication about what's happening now. Okay. And the world is going to change drastically, quickly and drastically. It's going to change in every area that you know. And the areas that are changing are the areas of safety and security that you once relied on in order to understand whether you are safe or not. Okay, so all the areas in your life that you look to as a point of reference to understand whether you're safe or not are coming into question, are coming into challenge. And the reason why is we are moving from being attached and identified with the physical into being non-physical organisms that are multidimensional and that master that multidimensionality. It is completely impossible for a human to be able to navigate these next few years being completely attached to the physical. If you are attached to any part of your physical experience, whether it's sex, money, the material realm, identities, because now we're going into another layer. Over the past 10 years, it was only about mastering, well, can you transcend your attachment to the material? Okay, we're beyond that now. We must be beyond it. Most of humanity has woken up in a way where we are questioning that attachment to the material realm. And we need to question where in our lives we are deeply, deeply attached to that as a part of our security, identity, who we are. Okay. And going even deeper now into the subconscious mind, what parts of us are attached to ideas about ourselves? Personalities, right? We talked about this last couple of weeks because it's been coming up so much. We become identified, even in the spiritual community, with spiritual ideas. And unfortunately, the spiritual community is also going through a renaissance. Not unfortunately, but fortunately, the reason why I say unfortunately is because um, we've fallen back asleep. We went back to sleep. Even us in the spiritual community, we've gone back to sleep. We've entered back into comfort zones. We are repeating patterns that have been repeated for centuries in regard to the spiritual, where it's more about the facade of the spiritual rather than the actual embodiment. At this time, your life will be a representation of your spiritual mastery. Your health will be a representation of your spiritual mastery. Your vitality, your energy, your ability to cultivate that life force is reflected in the relationships that you keep with yourself and with others. So we're going through a major reawakening, a deepening of our awakening. And there is an invitation here for those of you that want to take that invitation, those that are deeply connected to Earth and to the universe and to opening yourself up to the information of the universe can hear this invitation to deepen the connection, deepen the communication. And what that requires, again, is the detachment element in which we now understand and we are cultivating the multidimensional body in order to be able to navigate these realms, okay? Now, this starts the cultivation. Let's break it down. Now that we talked about all this wonderful information, how do we make it happen in our everyday life now? Okay, so let's go back to basics. Multidimensional body 101. Okay, the endocrine system is your chakra system. Your chakra system are vortices of information that are router systems that communicate with the realm through brain pattern waves, vibrational frequencies, and emotions. Anytime that we have imbalances, inharmonious flow inside of the organism, we create a disruption. We create blockages in which life force cannot enter and flow into the body harmoniously. Your endocrine system is processing emotional energy. And emotions are the energy that bring things into the manifestation of the physical. Emotions are the gateway from the non-physical frequency into the physical. But do you understand what that means? If emotions are the gateway to the physical manifestation, then that means we really need to pay attention to the emotions that we're feeling. Okay? If we do not pay attention to the emotions that we're feeling, what we're manifesting is a lot of things that can be very confusing, very disconnected. Okay, so the emotional body, the mastery of the emotional body is a router interconnected system that, remember, your physical organism is a hologram. Remember that. Remember that when you look at matter, this I'm pretty sure all of you are quite aware of this by now, but the thing is that we don't really embody this understanding. Okay, matter is at the quantum level, particles oscillating, and it is the network of that information, a vibrational frequency that creates what appears to be a solid form, which is a hologram. And every single one of your organs in your body is oscillating at a vibrational frequency. Your endocrine system is oscillating at a vibrational frequency, creating a field around you, many fields around you. You are made up of fields, made up of vortices. You are basically an amalgamation of vortices that come together, of life force, runways of energy and information that make up what you are. That is what your true body looks like. Okay, so you are not this physical. You are runways of energy and information. So this is the number one understanding. This is the fundamental, foundational understanding that is required in order to be able to embody love. Again, this is love. the mastery of this understanding is actually the embodiment of love, because love is a state of being in the body. It's an architectural foundation that requires the organism to understand who they are. You have to know yourself, which means that you have to know that you are not this physical body. You're also not the mind, the thoughts, or the emotions. Those are all products of the holographic projection of the information that runs within our DNA. Okay? Our DNA is a holographic processing system of massive dimension. Okay? The geometry that is created in our DNA is essentially the blueprint of everything that we are at the cellular molecular level, but also programs. All of our programming is encoded in our DNA. So when we are learning how to love, we have to deprogram the programs that have been installed into this organism for its purpose to experience separation. And separation is not love. Separation is fear. Okay? And in order to come back to unity consciousness, to expand into the connection with the whole, to be able to manifest in a way that is productive and co-creative for yourself and the collective, this deprogramming and self-organizing systems of harmonious balance and symmetry have to take place. Right now, when you're programmed with programs of fear, survival, separation, your expression, the geometric projection that you create is disorganized. It's distorted. Literally, the body has holes in its field. Okay, we have holes in our field. We are not able to hold space. What does it mean to hold space? To own yourself, to own your space. Your entire multidimensional body requires a level of awareness. To be able to own this space that exists, that you are projecting around you, in order to not get identified with any one object in which drains your life force, this is so important. You cannot create if your life force is being depleted from your body. When you judge anything outside of you, you become entangled, because the meaning that you apply to whatever it is that you're judging creates a connection. It's a vortex, it's an anchor into that other that you are now attaching yourself to. And so all of these attachments, imagine how many attachments you have or you have created in your multidimensional body throughout your day, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. You know, the life, you're not a creator, you're just a survivor. You're an experiencer and a survivor. And at that, you are, you know, your ability to experience is like a child, right? Because the child has no mastery. It's just kind of exploring and touching everything without the awareness of the consequences of that. Okay, so in states of fear, we experience things from a perspective of separation, which will always cause suffering. And at this time that we're going through this shift, if we continue to embody the belief system of separation and survival, when massive changes in this universe are occurring, it's universe because the world is a fractal of the universe. These changes are happening in all dimensional layers. Okay, so if we are attached to our physical body, if we're attached to a life, our lives, if we're attached to our drama, if we're attached to our trauma, if we're attached to pain and suffering, it's very difficult for you to become all and nothing. And all and nothing will be the most compassionate state of being when we go through major changes in this world, when there are hardships. there's a lot of people going through very difficult times right now. And the amount of suffering that comes up from that is severe. The amount of pain that we hold inside of the body is destructive to the organs of the body. It is destructive to the flow of life force and the harmonious state of co-creation in this body. We have to mature to a point of compassion, of self-love towards the self, where we choose clearly not to embody this self-destructive behaviors. And we talked a little bit about that yesterday, on Sunday, last Sunday, when we talked about the biochemical addiction to some of these self-destructive behaviors. It's because our understanding of love and our understanding of attaining love or embodying love biochemically, we're confusing temporary passion, temporary experiences, and we make it the whole truth. And therefore, the organism dies from its ability to evolve, from its evolutionary process. So the more we become entangled in our own mind with our own attachment to things that happen to us, the less we will be able to come into this harmonious flow that is required to create health. If you don't want to suffer, if you don't want to be in states of pain, if you don't want to be with illnesses, falling in the law of accident in the next few years, and these accidents that are going to be happening in the next few years are going to become stronger they're going to feel stronger because the paradigm is shifting. The paradigm of our belief system, of our world, everything that we thought was solid, like science, like physics, like the way that we see religion, the way that we see norms, are going to dissolve. They will change. And what happens is that the human doesn't understand its attachment to those things yet, because we lack self-awareness. In this process, we need to sit with every single one of our belief systems and question them. And you cannot ignore your belief systems. We have to excavate and we have to study every single part of this human vessel in order to break down and get to the roots of why we behave, why we think, why we feel the way that we do. Because the moment you stop doing that, you go into monotonous cycles of repetition. You are wanting to follow the cycle of samsara, or the cycle of reincarnation, the cyclical patterns of dormant states. Okay, and what happens when a conscious organism goes back into repeating the patterns? It's in hypnosis, it's highly programmable. The lack of self-awareness allows this organism to adapt to any kind of external influence or trigger that is experienced by this organism. So the thing is that we cannot embody love if within our subconscious mind we still have these programs of separation. So the invitation at this time is to really begin to do this work, actually do the work. This work that we, some of us have been avoiding for a very long time, because we have been in states of, fascination, fears, in the sensation body. Okay, there is a difference between being in observation, neutral observation, and being stuck in the sensation body, which means that you love to feel things. You're highly addicted to beauty, for example, or colors, or pleasures. You love things that taste really delicious, and you need those things, otherwise you don't have a good day. Or you need to see beautiful things, you need to wear beautiful clothes, you need to have successful work, you need to have money. All of these parts, if you're chasing a sensation that is temporary, you will not be able to embody the freedom of love, because again, love is all or nothing simultaneously. It's a neutral state of observation from which we love unconditionally everything. Okay? We accept, acknowledge, understand, and hold space for ourselves completely, and then this other, whatever it is. It can be something beautiful, it can be something ugly, it can be something horrific. But the thing is that we are tricked in this hologram to believe that if you suffer when this thing is telling you to suffer, that you're going to be able to change the outcome of the influence of this experience. And that's false. That is the inversion of how this matrix functions. It requires a self-mastery in which you understand that what creates is frequency. If we are in a state of contraction, all you will experience externally is contraction. And as we ascend, as we are moving through these ascension waves, especially this month, okay, is going to mark a beginning of, and I talked about this before we came into the summer. I talked about how major this year was going to be for the change, and the prep work that you do this year will hold space for you next year and coming into the next 7 years, because we are going to see everything that we once knew completely changing. And this will cause a lot of people suffering. And it'll cause, the thing is, and where I'm seeing in my visions, is that people won't realize how attached they are to certain things until it happens. So this is where I want to put information out for you to understand that this gateway that we're moving through, it's an energetic gateway, which simply means, there's nothing crazy about that. Essentially, we are, as always, moving from one octave to a higher octave. We're always ascending through these new octaves of vibrational frequency collectively, but there's consequences, and we need to understand what they are. If you meditate and you have a strong connection with yourself daily, you're picking up this information already. None of what I'm saying is going to be something new to you, because you are already reading the energies of this universe, not from your emotional fears or hopes for love and peace and joy, but actually a neutral place in which you are sovereign, complete mastery over this physical body as all and nothing, with the ability to witness and observe the changes that we are moving through at this time. So your DNA will hold the vibrational pattern of the state of your belief systems. Your beliefs are energized by the emotions that feed them. If you're unaware of your emotions, you're not going to know what you're creating. You're not going to know what you're intending. So this is the thing. We think we know, because just simply because we can acknowledge the emotion, it's not enough. You need to know why you feel that way. You need to understand what triggered these emotions within you. Okay? This is the thing. And so in order to be able to truly see that, this is exactly what we want to practice. All right. You're good, Eris. Do you have any questions, my love? Let's see if you have any questions. Thank you for your incredible comments. Eris says, wow, thanks, Geraldine. What a beautiful opportunity for me to practice unconditional love and gratitude. Light bulb moments. I don't need to suffer or believe any of those old patterns. Exactly. And so our ability to break from those belief systems is our superpower. Okay? Yeah, so what we want to kind of cultivate in the body is essentially activate this architecture, okay? How do we build the architecture in the body to be able to navigate these changes, okay? because your DNA is the blueprint of information that not only writes the physical code, but it also writes the rest of your body, okay? 80% of the information in our DNA is processing all of the information of archetypal aspects of yourself, fractals of yourself. Your fractals are encoded in the 80% of the information in your field. So this information that is in what is called the dark DNA or junk DNA, the DNA that doesn't write the immediate code of your physical organism, which is only 2%, okay? It's very important to understand that, because this breaks the illusion that we are physical beings, okay? This breaks this illusion that we're physical beings and helps us understand what's really creating at this time. If only 2% creates the physical body and all of its complex processes, this other information is including fractals of yourself. What are fractals of yourself? They are the following. All the information within the dimensional layers of your multidimensional body. Okay, remember that these are spheres within spheres of your body, interconnected, organized by vibrational frequency from the lowest to highest. And we have infinite number of dimensional layers to our body, our multidimensional body. Okay, so these physical bodies, these physical and non-physical bodies of ours, are holding information that helps us navigate these archetypal fractals of ourselves. So when we are in waking state, for those of you that are cultivating your higher faculties like your intuition, okay, you are able to navigate this information, the fractals of yourself. You might see other beings, entities around you. You tune into energies. Those abilities are absolutely essential for your navigation of the next phase of this human experience that you're entering into. The cultivation of your intuition is absolutely essential. If you are escaping your emotions, your traumas, if you're not doing the shadow work, you don't have intuition. You have an intuitive perspective that is tainted by certain programs. In order to have pure intuition, you must deprogram your body, because, as I mentioned, every single part of your body is like a router system of information that is processing the vibrational patterns of everything around you. If you have programs of the inability to create, let's see in your sexual organs, you have a program that you can't create. Let's say you experienced abuse as a child. This belief system completely changes the way that you see. It's a filter. Filters are incredibly powerful. They change the way they distort truth. The distortion of truth is the cabal. It is the all of the dark magic of this universe that wants to distort truth. It cannot accept truth. That is the separation. All of the evil in this world is a product of the distortion. There are two aspects to quote unquote evil, okay? That is the inversion of nature. And then there comes a point where the organism that inverts nature becomes aware of their inversion of nature. And when they become aware, that's when things start to get very difficult. Because once you are aware that you're inverting nature, essentially you become a counter-creative parasite. Because not only do you know that you're inverting nature, but because you don't go and transcend the gateway of integration, of doing the shadow work and healing the wound that creates the inversion, the illusion of needing that inversion, you essentially continue to propagate suffering for yourself and others. And the creation of suffering for yourself is a manifestation of this dark art, dark energy, dark. It is the inversion of utilizing life force. So we're very quick to judge the things we see outside of us. It's so easy to judge the murderers, the killers, the people that are robbing, stealing, being inhumane. But we ourselves hold every single one of those programs that trigger us in our bodies. And the way that you deprogram it is by facing it. It is challenging. It is very challenging. There have been meditation moments in my experience that I would have to sit with these atrocious things and beliefs that I believed in and work through my nervous system, my fears. And what did I discover? That the ego was afraid, it was attached. It didn't know how to move forward from the illusion of what it was experiencing and seeing. And helping that ego dissolve the illusion of what they're experiencing is the key to helping integrate that part of you. From there emerges compassion, because the veil of separation starts to dissolve when you begin to see it. If you're not willing to see it, if you're not willing to see your shadow, the darkness of this world, if you want to run away from it, if you don't want to know about it, if you rather not hear about all the things that are happening in the world around you that contribute to the suffering of yourself and others, in order to understand your participation. You see, we also get caught up in hearing these atrocious things, and then we just get addicted. We're like all about it. We think that we're being protesters, and we think that we're doing some kind of movement by propagating these storylines over and over again. But have you dissolved your perception of judgment of that? That's actually how you change the world. That's how you change the hologram. That's how you contribute to co-creation and healing, not suffering to the collective. It's good to be informed, but our ego, and because we are so stuck in the architecture of the matrix, which creates separation, we actually program separation biologically. We program separation bioelectrically. We program this body to see and identify separation, because it's part of our survival package of this body, right? So the survival mechanism of this body must learn to identify separation in order to know if it's going to survive or not. So the key to resolving this question is to understand that you are not the body. Things will die. Parts of you will die. Belief systems, thoughts, emotions, fears will die, in order for you to understand the greater part of you, which is the 80%, right, of the rest of the information that is required in order to manifest co-creation into this realm. And every single wave of vibrational frequency that we are ascending to is going to feel and address deeper subconscious parts. Because the higher the dimension we go in, the more fractalized the subconscious becomes in order for us to address it. That's why we have to work proactively on unifying our fragments. The multidimensional body, in the 80%, what else does it consist of? Okay, so other than these dimensional layers that we're learning to navigate, Within every single one of these dimensional layers, there are fractals of ourselves. And the fractals of ourselves, in the same way that our physical body self-organizes vibrational frequency from high to low within the chakra system, within every ring of this dimensional layer, with every layer of your multidimensional body, is also fractalized fragments of yourself, fractals of yourself, in vibrational ranges. Okay, so every single one of these dimensional layers has fractals, which you have become fractalized. This is all part of the overlay of the matrix, of the hologram, which we fractalize into in order to experience. This is how we exist in this universe. And so what we're doing is we're gathering ourselves in the physical so that we can then see ourselves as the whole more and more. So we recognize archetypes of ourselves. How does these fractals become organized? Imagine that these colors, the different colors that you see here, are different vibrational frequencies. The concept of the rainbow body is taking this disorder. So what you're looking at here is a hologram of your DNA. So remember I talked about DNA being a geometric expression, right? So your DNA as a geometric expression, when in a state of disorganized, disorder, disharmony, disconnect, separation, is it's a mess. Okay, it's a total mess, creating illness in the body and separation. The vibrational oscillation, so right here on the right side are photographs of the vibrational oscillation that is being created by the DNA cell. Okay, and then obviously, as you can see, it creates a geometric pattern. That geometric pattern is encoded with information that creates your hologram. It's a vibrational signature. The vibrational signature has different wavelengths, speeds in which it's moving. The oscillation creates a wave pattern, and that wave pattern is essentially encoding, how you are co-creating every single one of your organs, the expression of your geometry, the blueprint of information. So the 80% of this information that is encoded in this vibrational frequency is also fractals of yourself. The fractals of yourself are past lives, future lives. So the first ring of information that is a projection of your DNA is essentially your ancestral lineage. Okay, so the ancestral lineage, let's say it's within this first rings. The first 3 rings of your body, the first layers of your body, are the DNA of the earth, your ancestral lineages. What does that include? It includes all of your interconnections through your DNA. And remember that DNA essentially is passed down, aggregate copy of the before through the mitochondria, which means that we can trace back our origins to one origin on this planet. We're not making this up. This is genetically, we are able to trace back our genealogy back to an ancestor here, which takes us into the hybridization program. The union of the manifestation and the creation of this physical vessel is a result of the hybridization between the non-physical and the physical. Different archetypal aspects of interdimensional beings coming together to create this new generation of organism, which is the human. And we are an evolved, one evolved manifestation of that genetic engineering. And there are many species that we share this genetic pool with, both in the terrestrial matrix of genetic history and in the universal matrix of genetic history. All of that exists in your DNA. Our ancestral, our interdimensional ancestors, let's say you have Pleiadian bloodline, Arcturian, Draconian, Reptilian, are also organized in archetypes. Archetypes are simply vibrational organization from lowest to highest. Everything is a fractal, okay? In the same way that you have chakras with different frequencies, you also have archetypes that you fluctuate throughout your day of different frequencies. You also have ancestral aspects of yours that exist in different frequency states. And all of these fractals of yourself, let's see, your family circle, your earth DNA is managing the information, all of the programs that you're going to be using in your everyday story of your life that is a product of the matrix of the experience. This temporary experience of separation is designed. Remember, you came into the physical body, incarnated into your family lineage in order to experience something very specific. It's very specific because the history of programs that run down your ancestral lineage is a vibrational signature. And it has come in resonance with you as a soul, which in other lifetimes, other fractals of yourself, not just your family DNA of the earth, in other fractals, let's say other past lives, which are simultaneous fractals of yourself that exist simultaneously right now. They're existing right now. So your life as Marie Antoinette right now is existing right now. There is no linear time. There is no past. There is no future. And the reason why you are existing in Marie Antoinette timeline at the same time as you're existing in your, let's say your timeline as an American Indian, mixed with a French bloodline, is because you have the fractal of the Marie Antoinette bloodline within your lineage. And the union between the American Indian and this French bloodline is essentially encoded with information, emotional programs, which are a bioelectrical charge or frequency that inform the state of your health, the state of your thoughts, your emotions, and programs, and how you're going to manifest. If you don't break those programs, you are the representation of the matrix. You are a product of the matrix. The hologram, the illusion of this lifetime that is encoded with those experiences that have been passed down through generations, which you continue to sustain through your everyday actions and beliefs. Your fears and your ability to love is a manifestation of your belief systems encoded by these histories. So what is in that junk DNA is all of this history of all the fractals of ourselves that when we go into meditation, so monks, for example, that meditate for hours and hours a day are observing this. And we are healing. How do you heal? First of all, you become aware of your fractal. And in order to do that, your vibrational frequency has to shift into a state of observation. You have to be neutral. You have to embody the 0 point in order to be able to experience all dimensional layers. Okay? When you, in dream time, you leave your body, you go up to the 11th, you're in a frequency of the 11th. That's why you can experience it and see it. You exist in all of them simultaneously right now. But your frequency, your programs, your level of awareness either allows you to experience them or does not allow you to experience them. So how do we integrate then? And what do we do when we have these fractals of ourselves? Because all of these have vibrational frequency in common. What you'll discover is that they're all experiencing the same thing: separation. Okay, this is the cheat sheet, which I want you to discover on your own through your own work. What I have discovered by looking at every single one of my past lives, my relationships, my family history. What did I discover? That when you're incarnate in a three-dimensional plane, and you are here experiencing the three-dimensional plane through this evolutionary cycle, you are here to experience duality, and you are here to learn how to go from separation into unity. That's your job. That's the invitation as an organism. Okay? You choose to incarnate in a three-dimensional plane. How do you go from separation to unity? And all of the fractals of yourself that you're going to discover from yourself through the vessel of what you are right now, which is also a very sacred divine thing, because what you are right now is encoded with a very important code of healing for the earth. Because all of these things that we're discussing are in the subconscious mind. They're in the 80% of the DNA, which every single past life, the Marie Antoinette, the Buddha, the alien part of us that we are becoming aware of and integrating into wholeness, is a vibrational frequency, which we can define it as a timeline, which is simply a runway of energy. It's like a vein of energy. It's a vein of frequency that runs through the entire organism of the greater organism that is this multiverse. So when you become aware of the fractals of yourself on all these dimensional layers, you are becoming aware of yourself as this multiverse. You're accessing through your vortices of your chakras, through the vortices of your DNA. Okay, it literally looks like this. It's coiled up runways of information with tons of massive amounts of layers of information available for you. But what you're going to discover is that all of these fractals, no matter how many there are, they are all experiencing the same thing. They're all learning how to go from the experience of separation into unity. If you can master that, if you understand that in your body through the shadow work, you begin to become one with all. And what happens is that you dissolve karma. Dissolving karma is not just an illusion. Karma is cause and effect. It's a vibrational frequency. It's the product and the actions that have been chosen by you, the organism, through all of these fractals to experience separation. So you have to dissolve them, because they are the beliefs of separation that you're holding within your DNA. So how do you, begin to work with that information in a way in your physical body? Your physical body then becomes an expression of this. Unity consciousness has to be programmed into us now. Okay? Okay, so let me jump into some questions, and then I'm going to go deep into some other parts that I want to share with you. Hello, everybody. Wow, chat's blowing up. Welcome, Mariha. Thank you so much for being here. Cedric, Mark, so great to see you. Inga, so wonderful to see you here. Penelope, New Zealand, thank you for being here. Love your teachings. You blow my mind. Thank you, Penelope, for being here. Welcome. Leon, what about our money from our Sestu Gavia? When will these corrupt governments be gone? Corrupt governments be gone. So corruption will be gone when corruption within us is gone. Okay, that's basically what it comes down to. As long as we are judging these external things without taking accountability for our participation in parasitic systems that cause suffering to others, we really cannot, complain, to be honest with you. I mean, you can complain all you want, but the fact of the matter is, and the point of maturity that we are being invited to come into, and anytime that you interact with higher dimensional beings, those of you that have contact, are awakened enough to interact in these dimensional layers, you witness other civilizations, more advanced civilizations with incredibly advanced technologies, incredibly advanced cities and organized communities. And what are some things that we learn from these advanced civilizations of interdimensionals? Okay, first of all, duality is not operating at the same way. It still exists, but it's operating less. Okay, even within the physical organism, they have both sexes integrated in their body. They don't have separate sexes. Okay, that creates an entire different biochemical structure organism that is meant and designed to experience a different paradigm. We are still man and woman here on this dimension. So, it's tough. It's tough. Like the way that we see everything is compartmentalized and separate. And it is a major initiation for an organism to incarnate into this dimension in order to be able to go from that separation in every way into unity. It's tremendous work, guys. It's beautiful work. And you have all chosen that because you all can do it, because you all have done it. And there are as your soul matures, right, the more you are able to come into unity consciousness quicker in your life. So now we have babies and small toddlers that are being born with this awareness already. And it even shows up in the way that gender is coming into question in this paradigm. And there are two aspects to that. One of them, from the highest level, big picture, is natural occurrence. So the fact that humans are being born with opposite sex, is essentially that these lines are merging. It's a product of the vibrational shifts that are happening collectively. Now, on the other side of it, we can choose to give the credit to the dark side and say that there's a manipulation, social engineering, and all of that is true. All of that is true. But we need to be able to understand the bigger picture of what's happening here. All of our constructs of separation must dissolve. They must dissolve. And in order to do that, everything that we once believed was right, was correct, ethical, moral, religious, spiritual, scientific laws, all of those things are going to be dissolving because we must enter into a different paradigm. And the new paradigm that we're coming into has different laws. Well, it has different, it's not that it has universal laws are always the baseline, but we are shifting our perception in the way that we see the world and the way that we interact in the world in order to navigate a different state of existence. Okay, and it's necessary to crumble those. So what's going to happen essentially, that all these things are crumbling down into neutrality. Everything will become neutral in order for us to operate at higher octaves. Okay, and we are aligning, we are going back to nature. The more you connect with nature, that's why it's so important to connect with the earth, to connect with the universe, to expand your mind into unity consciousness. Because when you are connected with the universe and with the earth, you pick up these informations naturally. They come to you through the internal shadow work that you're doing in your meditation daily. They come through you as a reflection before you see the terrible things happening. The universe guides you as an organism in alignment with the whole. And organisms that are in alignment with the whole are transcending the law of accident. Okay, the more you come into unity consciousness, the less you're going to experience the laws of accident. Because the law of accident occurs when we fall asleep, when we disconnect from ourselves or any part of ourselves. So if we all in this world, do the shadow work and we come into unity consciousness, we are not going to experience it that way anymore. It's not going to be about suffering at that octave. Remember, collectively, the vibrational frequency of suffering must also change. And as humans learn to master their emotions and this physical vessel, like babies learning how to walk and how to interact in the world around us, the way that we quote unquote suffer or perceive suffering or loss will change. That is a completely different stage of vibrational frequency. When we are primates and primal states, it's about killing the other person, right? This person crosses you, you want to hit them, you want to do something to them, you want to hurt them, you want to harm them because you believe that they're separate from you, right? So when you integrate those parts of you, now that person trespasses you the same, and you begin to feel love, compassion. That's a different octave of existence entirely. So as you see, our ways of seeing and doing and being and existing are shifting for this collective. So our understanding of governments will completely change. But we have to deprogram within us the parts of us that behave, trying to have, let's say, competition, that are in states of competition, that are in states of separation. Where do you behave the way the government is behaving in this world? Taking advantage of other people, lying, little white lies, dishonest with yourself, not being accountable for your actions, not making healthy choices in your life, being codependent, being over emotional in your life, feeling that you are a victim, right? All of these different wounded aspects, abuse of power, control. Where are you in your life exploring control? Okay, so when we integrate these parts of us, then our government will have to change because remember that this world, the way that it's set up is through financial systems. 198 companies rule this entire world. That is necessary information for you in your spiritual work. The way 80% of your DNA is actually running your entire body, your entire existence, right? These BlackRock and these major companies that are socially engineering you to believe in separation, socially engineering you to be in states of survival. So if you fall for it and you are in survival all the time, wanting to eliminate the opposer, you're just embodying the exact same matrix that you're trying to dissolve. It just doesn't work. It's just simple physics and laws of the universe. So we have to become what we want to see in this world. You have to become the magnetic pool of transformation, the 0 point. You cultivate the Merkaba within your body. You regulate your nervous system. You learn to clear and deprogram low vibration programs, matrix programming from your chakra system. Then your hologram changes. You create a new world. So we have to understand our participation. There are no victims in this universe. There are no victims in this earth. How do we switch it from our mind to our heart? So again, the heart is the largest bioelectrical system in the body. It is the largest multidimensional field in the body. Because heart frequency, the frequency of love, is essentially intertwined into all living organisms in this universe. So it is the gateway into unity consciousness. When you love yourself, when you begin to activate the heart chakra as a result of the cultivation of your body, your Merkaba, as the mastery over your vibrational frequency, emotions, and perceptions, you create harmonious balance in the body, which activates the crown, the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th chakra. The 7th, the 8th, and the 9th chakra are the gateway to unity consciousness, because what happens is that you activate the violet light. Violet light is found in every single particle in this universe, multiverse. It is the frequency that unites all living organisms, as you can see in the range of frequencies. We think violet light is just one of them, but there's many frequencies that we are learning. The frequencies that you can experience depend on the vibrational spin of your body, the geometry that you're creating, your state of unity consciousness that you are embodying. Okay, so all of these different states of creation have a different frequency that they can experience. When you're down here, you're barely operating within the range of visible light. And most of those are here in the lower survival mechanisms. When you start going into unity consciousness, you begin to enter into the higher octaves of vibrational frequency. You can experience higher bands of frequency. You can witness them, you can see them, experience them, understand them, and learn how to use them. So what happens when we activate the heart chakra is that you open and you unblock the middle dantian. Okay, see how there's a yin and yang there? It's the integration of separation that allows you to unlock the heart chakra. Once you master the basic part of the physical, the idea that you are, I am, right? I am this, I am that. But every single one of these chakra systems has a different belief that it's running subconsciously. We want to go into I create. Okay, and I wonder if I have a chart of those here. I don't know if I do, but if I do, I'll let you. Oh, here, I actually do have it right here. Okay, so over here, this one doesn't actually have what I'm looking for, but essentially, I will share it with you. I'll post it in my posting so that you guys can check it out. But every single one of these levels of creation, essentially, it's a geometric shape that creates a certain belief structure. So if you are led by the higher self here on the expanded light or the highest state of co-creation, essentially you are activating the violet light in the body. Okay, and I teach this in my alchemical transformation challenge. But essentially the chakra system in the third eye, so the third eye and the pineal gland, okay, when we're cultivating the light crystals crystallizing in the pineal gland, the alchemization of fear emotions into love emotion, It creates a bioelectrical charge in the body. You become a transducer. Every time that you alchemize an emotion, you become a transduction mechanism, a bioelectric transduction mechanism. The bioelectric transduction mechanism releases contraction of the heart muscles, which allows you to create the spiral, the infinity spiral in the heart muscle that allows the flow of life force to move. If you are contracted in your heart, in the heart center, you are not able to experience love. You cannot experience love at all. And the inability to experience love is one of the most self-destructive things that you can do for yourself. The heart itself is an entire architectural structure of life force. When the heart is blocked, I posted yesterday a video of how blood flows to the arms and back into the chest. When a person stays still and stagnant, when they don't do a lot of exercise, literally blood is not going to that part of the body. And it's the same with your mind. If you're disconnected from your body, if you haven't integrated that lower, middle, and upper dantian, parts of you are being, they are being weakened. They are not receiving information in a conscious state. So the heart, what happens when you begin to integrate that duality is that you open the channels of life force, and the heart creates this infinity. You see, it literally, the muscles of the heart, in order to pump the heart, which actually, it's not actually a pump, but this generation of energy creates this infinity cycle of energy that is what actually ignites the movement of the toroidal field into its flow. So when you don't love, when you can't come into unity consciousness, compassion, and love, that's why your vortex doesn't spin. It cannot spin. And it becomes centrifugal. Remember, I explained centrifugal movement in the body is contractive, it's stagnant. Centripetal movement in the body is expansive and it becomes magnetic. Again, through the transduction process of moving life force, you become centripetal, a magnet of creation. When your heart doesn't come into the ability to love, when it becomes stagnant, when you are embodying self-destructive behavior that solidifies beliefs of separation, these muscles do not unite in the harmonious flow of energy that begin to spin your multidimensional body. This is why the heart chakra is the most important heart of your body, but it can only be activated when you heal the lower bodies. Okay? So if your root sacral solar, it doesn't move because you're afraid of doing something, you're in survival, you're in separation, you are not coming into these truths of the universe. You're not healing your body. And again, your DNA is also counter-creative. You are coming into states of these profound suffering and helplessness. So this is actually what we have to shift into the heart by the integration of these belief systems. You need to do the shadow work, all the subconscious beliefs of separation. This is how we move from the mind, the analytical mind, into the heart. It's not like, oh, I feel so loving right now. I feel everything is wonderful. I'm filled with joy. But in the subconscious mind, you have major insecurities, fears. You're afraid of things. You're angry about the quote unquote dark systems in this world. Then you're existing in separation. So the rebalancing of these dualistic parts of our nature are the key to the liberation of the matrix. And this is something that we have to work on, cultivate on doing with all this work. How do we change limiting beliefs into practical? You need to understand the consequence of your limiting belief, of your belief actually in general. Okay, so practical things, I don't really think of things as practical or impractical. The way that I think of it as creator, creation, and counter creation. And I invite you to explore that and see if it works for you. I learned this. Nature taught me this. Okay, and nature can teach you this as well when you connect with nature. The harmonious ebb and flow of life and death in nature allows life, allows creation. Okay, if the leaves on a tree are afraid to die, we're never going to be able to see the 4 seasons of that tree. We're only going to see one constantly, all the time, same one over and over again. So we need to learn how to come in to this natural ebb and flow of the universe. And in order to be able to discern creation and counter creation, in order to be able to recognize if we're creating or counter creating, and in the process of coming into realignment with that nature, we have to deprogram matrix programming of separation that have created inversions of beliefs, the inversions of understanding of nature. You will be very surprised when you do this work that how many things in this world are upside down, they're inside out, they're all wrong. They're all going against life. What is going against life? How many of your behaviors throughout your day are actually against life, against freedom, unity, manifestation, creation? How many self-destructive thoughts a day do you have about yourself, about the things outside of you that create separation internally, that create this war inside of you? That is all against life. And when we align with nature, when we become integrated in the full acceptance of this organism in order to become whole, we then become the whole. And what happens is an implosion. It is so powerful. Those of you that have had Kundalini awakenings, okay, that's the natural aspect of the transmutation of the lower into the higher. When you have aha moments into an expansive state of seeing things, and my invitation is that you do it organically with your shadow work, because that is the only way to change your DNA. When you do things with ayahuasca or DMTs or chemical things, you're only creating the superficial understanding of things, but you don't understand how multidimensional you are. You have an entire biology that also has to understand what you're seeing in order to embody it. So there's a bioelectrical restructuring of your architecture. And I see this all the time. People that do ayahuasca or these things have these incredible realizations and understanding. But when you ask them, how do you embody love? How do I go from fear to love? They cannot tell you because they don't know. They haven't gone through that. There is a reconnection in the body that has to take place in the process of deprogramming. There are no shortcuts because we are complex interconnected beings, and every phase of evolution into awakening is essential, because you're not just healing yourself. Remember, we are one. So every part of you that you're avoiding is a human, an unconscious human that exists on this planet. Imagine, parts of you that you're denying and avoiding is another human in this world that is suffering because you hold that vibrational frequency in your body, you suppress it, it exists, and it becomes manifest in another human. That's how interconnected we are. And this is also how we contribute to the suffering of things outside of us. So we want to ask ourselves, here's a couple tips, Mariha, to answer your question. Is this something that someone that loves themselves will do? That's a really great awakening question, because you're like, wait a minute, what does it mean? Like, if I love myself, how would I behave? If I love myself, would I not drink water right now? If I love myself, would I stop the car from going to that a barbecue that I don't want to go to with people I don't like, um, and prioritize my integrity to myself and my well-being instead of going to put a fake in order to gain approval and temporary fake love, and feel approved and accepted for an hour. Okay, so this is the thing. We think that that's a practical behavior because you're going to save a certain relationship, but the seeker, the person that is working in this conscious level, has to be ready to have their entire world falling apart. Everything that you thought was comfortable and nice and cozy must fall apart in order for you to see the truth. Okay, so maybe you're not in alignment with those people and you know it, but every time you keep going there, and then every time you're in the same place, you're in the stagnant place. So are you creating? You're counter creating because you're just repeating. Okay, that's how you know that you're not creating, that you're just repeating patterns, either yourself or those of this matrix. How much of our body contains water? 80% water contains memory. That's exactly right. So our physical bodies are bioelectrical. Water is the largest part of our existence. And so we must, of this physical biology, so we need to understand that if this universe is based on frequency, your frequency defines your health and your well-being. And your frequency is defined by your emotional states. Okay? All right, so let's go to the next question. With our previous lives drama, is it hard to determine what is holding us back in our expansion? Even if we're going forward with positive projects, how do we address that? Absolutely, Sandra. Thank you so much for that question, because it's super important to understand this. And many of you encounter this in our healing sessions when you're doing DNA reprogramming with me, or when we're doing hypnotherapies, you begin to uncover past lives. And I'll make a video on hypnotherapy and healing, soon. But one of the things that we need to understand when we become aware of these fractals of ourselves is that within the first of all, let me give you a thorough understanding of something. Every single one. Okay, so when you come into the three-dimensional plane, you become fractalized. First of all, you really need to understand that. You are always whole, you are always one, but you become fractalized. Why? It's the nature of how light bends. Remember, we can see a color because it's the only color that is not absorbed by that light. Remember that? So in that same way, every dimension will only hold certain colors visible. Other colors will not be visible. So your fractals, and it's all based on frequency, right? So if we are in resonance with a purple color, we will see purple everywhere. We will become purple. We are purple. We see purple everywhere. So it's the same way, every dimensional layer, every dimension, every single one of these rings around your body, every layer of your body is a vibrational frequency that has a platonic solid at the core of its creation, which means that every single one of these dimensional layers has a different geometric expression, which means that the organisms can be different. Which explains why when we go into higher dimensional layers, we start to see things that don't look like humans anymore. Okay. Number two, every single one of these dimensional layers hold fractals of yourself. And because everything is in fractal form, within those dimensional layers, it's fractalized as well. So let's say purple goes into the purple dimension. Within the purple dimension, there's like thousands of different shades of purple. Okay? Within the red dimension, there's thousands of different shades of the color red. When you go into the yellow, thousands different shades of the color yellow. This is how your body looks fractalized. So let's say you're working on your red shades of color. Okay? You tune in, you in this moment, you are vibrating at a deep red color. You're going to have access to all of the fractals of yourself within the red dimensional layer of deep red colors. Okay, I'm giving you an example so you understand this, because it's a complex concept, but we're going to simplify it. Resonance is key. You only have access to things that you're in resonance to. This also goes for your healing. So what happens is that in past life regression, if you are a shade of deep red vibrational frequency, when you go into a past life, you're going to see all of your deep red shades, fractals. And you're going to be able to experience them, heal them, and integrate them, okay? Now, in a session, you can change your shades as you become aware of things because you have vibrational frequency. In the same way, because we are multidimensional, we're never just one shade. We're all the shades, okay? And so within every layer, every field of the body that we begin to unlock, every time that you shift your own shade, you have access to more shades, more information. So if you are constantly in a state of fear and you go into a past life regression and you discover that in a past life you were a farmer and one day you were killed in the field when you were farming doing something you love, you learned that it's not safe to do what you love. Okay? So in this lifetime, you're born to a family, a very conservative family that feels that creative art is sin. In this lifetime, you have to transcend that belief system in order to anchor your ability to manifest creation. When you look at that lifetime, it's the same program, the same belief system that has to be transcended. You have to change the belief that creation is dangerous in the same way that in this lifetime creation is sin, and all of the beliefs underneath that. Okay, what's right and wrong? So what I'm saying is that both of these examples are the same. You are learning how to go from fear to love. So you can simplify your healing by understanding that all fractals, all of them, what you're going to discover, every single one that you have access to in this dimensional incarnation, while you're incarnated in this dimension, you are here to understand separation to unity, love, fear into love. So the lesson for all of them is going to be the same with a plethora of experiences and examples and different scenarios. That's what you're going to discover through your work. But don't look for that. You must seek truth. The first step to understanding unity consciousness is the pursuit of truth, the pursuit of light, okay? Because in the pursuit of truth is where you begin to question. Okay, so the person in the field that got killed doing what they love, is it true that what you love is not safe? No, it's not true. What is true? What's true is that, let's say I started gardening at the wrong time and my intuition told me not to go there, but I did it anyway. Okay, here's another lesson. You didn't trust your intuition. Why? You didn't trust your intuition because at home you have all kinds of drama going on and you can't be grounded in yourself. You can't listen to yourself. You're just escaping. So instead of listening to your intuition, you valued escaping your problems more than you did your well-being. This is how we fall into the law of accident. And there's consequences. All of these actions are a representation of fear and separation. None of these actions are an embodiment of self-love. The reconnection to the self is self-love. When you connect with yourself, you honor this vessel, which means that you listen to it. You listen to the needs, you listen to its fears, you listen to its joys. And from there, you parse out what is true and what is love, what is in alignment with nature and the whole. And you make this body do what's in alignment with the whole, instead of what feels comfortable and safe and is repeating ancestral matrix programs. That is self-love. That's actually self-love. So, and it's not easy because a lot of things will dissolve around you in that pursuit. Okay. All right, guys, let's get into our meditation, and then I'm going to answer some questions after. Okay. In today's meditation, we are going to dissolve all of the subconscious programs within us that keep us in states of separation. I want you to reconnect with yourself as the universe, with the universe as the whole. Okay, so in this meditation, we are going to overlay over our belief systems of separation with love, and we're going to embody that love. I'm going to take you through this process now. I want you all to get really nice and comfortable into meditative state, and let's begin. I'm going to start by inhaling deeply. Inhale and exhale. Breathing. With every breath you take, allowing yourself to come into a state of complete relaxation, complete calm, bringing yourself into absolute stillness. And the quicker you can bring yourself into the stillness, the better, because you are practicing and training yourself. Okay? Breathing deeply. Okay. As you come into this stillness, breathing, deeper and deeper into a state of calm, into a state of stillness. With every breath you take, allowing yourself to come into neutrality, to observation. Notice the body resisting coming into a state of release and expansion. And guide the body into a state of calm and reconnection. In the same way that we go back to repeating patterns, the body contracts and stays stagnant. So we have to move ourselves out of stagnation, out of dormant states, into states of connection. Breathing. Allowing yourself to come into a state of complete relaxation. Okay. You're going to start by focusing on the root chakra at the base of the spine. Go ahead and shrink that chakra down to the size of a dime. Going into your sacral, shrinking it down to the size of a dime. Going into your solar, shrinking it down to the size of a dime. Going up into your heart. I'm going to activate your heart, expanding your heart as wide as possible, opening the center of communication. You're going to go up into your throat, expanding the throat chakra. Going up into the third eye, expanding the third eye. Going up into the seventh and the eighth. Okay. We're going to begin to align with the ebb and flow of the universe. Your energy and your body become a conduit of flow. So we're going to begin by connecting with the energy of the earth. Go ahead and bring green life force up into your body, creating a vortex of energy around the lower part of your body. From source, bring down gold cosmic energy as you reconnect with the universe, with all parts of you as the universe. If you see this picture on the screen, you are basically at the very center of this universe. You are at the center. This is what your multidimensional body looks like. All the galaxies, what we think of as galaxies, universes, planets, they all exist within you. So as you anchor this creative life force of the universe in through your body, combine it with the earth energy as you begin to alchemize, reconnect with yourself as the earth. You're going to take 10% of that, send it back down to the center of the earth, because we're going to heal Mother Earth. Mother Earth is also us. This planet Earth is us. It is part of that 80% of our DNA is the planet. So you're going to anchor that cosmic energy into the earth, healing, raising the vibrational frequency of this planet as well through you. As you, you heal this earth. Breathing. Okay, take 80% of that, send it up your spine, from the crown of your head, coating the outside, as you begin to hold within you all of it. Begin to release any debris in the upper chakras, any limiting programs in the heart, the throat, and the third eye. Clear them out. Push them out with this earth and cosmic energy out of your body as you begin to deprogram the body energetically. Okay? Release the crystallizations of thoughts that become stagnant attachments in your field. Release them. Take them out. Direct them out of your body. Allow that green and gold cosmic energy move them through your field, clearing out the many layers of your body. Breathing. As you allow the clearing of the matrix. You're going to go back to your center core. I want you to take your final 10% of that life force, bring it into the body now. Healing the body, nourishing the body. Okay. And when you're running energy, most of you will feel this sensation of rocking. You're going to want to rock. Some of you might rock in place. Some of you might rock in the direction of creating an infinity cycle. Your root chakra is clearing. You're waking up stuff. Stagnant energy in the root. Allow yourself to flow in that. Let your body move and sense these energies move through you. All the energies and the life force that are coming from the earth move through you naturally without resisting. Your body has an intelligence of its own. It knows how to use these energies already. Your analytical mind right now can rest as you allow your body to intuitively move with these energies. Many of you will feel like rocking back and forth because you are reconnecting with your mother. Okay, remember when we're babies, we are rocked. When we are rocked, we fall asleep. We come into a state of healing. Not that we're falling asleep in states of consciousness. Right now, you are awakening your consciousness to your mother, the whole, the greater, your greater self. So as you feel this rocking sensation in your body, I want you to begin to become aware of the ebb and flow that it feels. Right now, the rocking in your body represents the contraction and the expansion of your energy. Okay? Right now, the rocking of your body and the moving of this energy through all your fields represents the white hole and the black hole as your vortices begin to move in states of alignment. Okay. So as you begin to feel this ebb and flow, we are experiencing the opening and closing of our energy fields. So as you are here moving in this flow, I want you to notice how you are receiving and releasing. And I want you to say in your mind, receiving and releasing, receiving and releasing, receiving and releasing. It's as if you are opening and closing your energy centers. Feel the energy cycle through your body. Parts of you are receiving and parts of you are releasing. Okay. I want you to connect now. As you begin to connect with the sky, visualize that you're connecting with the sky of this matrix. And I want you to begin to feel love. The sky loves you. The universe loves you. As you begin to receive and release all parts of you that don't believe or that want to resist this love. Receiving and releasing. Receiving and releasing. As you begin to connect with the beauty of this universe, with the divine expression of this nature, I want you to begin to feel profound love. The sky loves you. The universe loves you. 10 million people in this planet love you. And I want you to notice parts of you that react to these words, to these sayings. What parts of you resist this as truth? Those are the parts that are wounded, that need to be healed. The sky loves you. The ocean loves you. The trees love you. Your family loves you. The community loves you. All of these strangers around you love you. As you begin to embody this as truth, you begin to notice the parts of you that perceive things as separation. The universe loves you. The sky loves you. All the billions of stars and planets love you. Allow yourself to receive that love in your body. Receive that love from your family. Receive that love from your community. Receive that love as you begin to become a generator of love in your body. Melting away the parts that resist this as truth. Because when it is truth, you will dissolve into the absolute. You will dissolve into the infinite. That is unity in this consciousness. Allow yourself to love deeply yourself. I love myself. I love myself deeply. My family loves me. 10 million people in this earth love me. You are deeply, deeply loved. All the stars in the universe love you. All the stars in the universe love you. All the planets in this universe love you. You begin to connect with the energy cycles and exchange through the plasmic field of this earth that are intercommunicating with all the planets, with all these universes, both physical, non-physical realm that exist within us. All of them become reconnected in a state of love. All of them recognize themselves as parts of you as you begin to love. As you receive their love deeply. Receiving their love deeply in your body as you begin to restructure your body into a state of love. As you begin to connect with this multiverse, the multiverse loves you. The multiverse loves you so deeply. You begin to feel parts of you healing, changing, shifting, becoming whole again. as you connect and receive this love from the universe, from the stars, from the planet, from the oceans on this planet. Water will play a major element this year. Water represents the emotions. As you begin to love yourself, love your emotions, love your thoughts, love the body, deeply accept this body, accept every part of your body, accept every part of your mind, the beautiful mind that creates. When you love, you neutralize from separation into unity. So bring into unity every part of you, your mind, your body, your soul. Your family loves you. Your family loves you. Begin to receive that love, that in the higher level of all things, love is the only thing that actually is desired by every organism in this universe. It is at the core root of their blueprint. It is available to every organism that chooses to embody this state of existence. And as you begin to notice that in the state of love is health, vitality, abundance, wealth. In a state of love, there is a state of security that is unity consciousness that sees all as a part of you, and it becomes safe because nothing is separate. Nothing is separate. They are you and you are them, and they love you. They love you. This universe loves you. We love our life. The life loves you. This existence loves you. The existence needs you. It loves you. It creates you. As you allow yourself to receive this love deeply at the cellular level in your body, you're going to begin to generate an even more powerful spin within the center core of your body. As you shift your vibrational frequency, you begin to activate this Merkaba body in the body, which is allowing you to expand your field. As you expand your heart chakra, notice how your body moves, allowing this energy to move through the body as you connect higher and higher every time. We're going to connect into the 9th, into the 10th, into the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th. And as you see all 13 dimensional layers around you, I want you to come into love. As you love each one of these fields of your body, you love yourself. The fields of the body are a hologram of all the information you hold within your DNA, of everything that makes up what you are, of the illusion of your life. As you begin to dissolve the separation in how you view these things, begin to bring yourself back to your center core. I want you to feel profound love for yourself and your body. Breathing deeply, that ebb and flow, still existing in that ebb and flow of energy as you heal your body. Deeply, deeply absorbing. Allow your body to absorb that love into its core. Begin to absorb this love into the skin, into the flesh, into the pores. Every single pore of the body is saturated with this love. Let's go into the muscle system of the body. Every muscle in this body is saturated with love. Notice the parts of you that want to resist feeling love towards yourself. Especially the parts of the body that you reject will give you a lot of information about beliefs and emotions that need to be worked on. Allow yourself to come into a profound state of love. Go into your nervous system. Saturate your nervous system with love. Saturate your nervous system with love. Allow yourself to feel this profound state of love. Breathing deeply. Going deeply into the body now. Every single muscle in the body is saturated with love. Going into the organs now, into the nervous system. As we go into the organs, go into your liver. Saturating the liver with love. Saturating the liver with love. Receiving and releasing. You're still moving yourself. You are still receiving and releasing. I want you to maintain that at the back of this meditation throughout the entire session. Going into the heart. Saturate your heart with love. Some of you are going to feel fear when you saturate love into any one of these organs. That's because you're holding a lot of pain and trauma in those organs. At first, it'll feel scary. Some of you, when we feel the heart with love, it feels like it's going to explode because you're not used to feeling this frequency in your body. But rest assured, your body, your heart will not explode. Rest assured that as you soften the belly muscles, as you soften any muscles in your body that are contracting, and open the channel of life force from the crown of your head through the center core of your body, down through the perineum into the center of the earth. Allow that source to move through your body. Your heart will expand naturally. Any feelings of resistance that come up around feeling love, acknowledge them immediately. And as you acknowledge them, release the muscles that want to contract with every new acknowledgement. I want you to fill your blood vessels with love. Control your mind and control your thoughts into only focusing love at this moment. Because as you connect to these organs, you're going to have lots of memories come up and lots of thoughts of survival. Lots of fears. So I want you to be very mindful of that and embody this state, this emotion into the body. Go into the spleen, fill your spleen with love. Saturate the spleen with love. Breathing deeply. Saturating the spleen with love. Going into the stomach. Saturate the stomach with love. Going into the kidneys. Saturate the kidneys with love. Unconditional love. This love has no conditions, no limitations, no fears. Okay, let's go down into the bladder, into the small intestines, large intestines. We're going to saturate with love. Breathing deeply. We're going to go into the lungs, saturating the lungs with love. Lots of people that hold sorrow and fear have lots of stagnation in their lungs. Your body will have warmed up by now because your energy is shifting. So as you embody this love into your body, I want you to reconnect with this universe. As you begin to feel yourself as the whole, I want you to connect with the root chakra at the base of the spine, filling the root chakra with love, letting go of any fears that exist within the root chakra that do not allow you to love unconditionally yourself or others. These are programs around safety. Are you safe loving? Clear all of those programs out of the body. Go up into the sacral. Go ahead and eliminate all of the programs around receiving love, giving and receiving love. Separation. Let go of all those programs in your body. Go up into the solar plexus. Anytime that we feel disempowered, breathing, feeling your solar plexus with love. You're going to go up into the heart now. I want you to begin to see the energy moving in the heart center as it begins to rotate in and out, releasing what needs to be released, powerfully releasing what needs to be released, and receiving what needs to be received. Let the heart come into this harmonious flow as it begins to connect with the universe. In the same way that your heart is moving this life force, so is the universe. Allow yourself to begin to move in alignment with the universe, alignment with the earth. Allow the energy to move through your body as it rotates, as you connect to this whole. As you come into a profound reconnection with yourself in stillness, absolute stillness, as you embody that 0 point. In absolute non-judgment, in complete observation, I want you to allow your mind to come quiet now. And as you sit in this silence, in this absolute stillness, open yourself up to the information that is available for you at this gateway. Allow yourself to receive the downloads as you begin to activate your higher self in the 9th, the 10th, the 11th. Begin to call forth the information that is required for you at this time. Running energy through your body and sustaining the feeling of love in your body, towards your family, towards friends, towards your community, towards society, towards the country, the planet, towards the universe, towards all other organisms which are a reflection of you. I want you to saturate with love. And in that love, you're going to begin to experience truth. Breathing deeply, allowing you to be in this stillness. Allow yourself to begin to activate the 14th, the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, the 18th chakra, the 19th chakra, the 20th, 21 and 22, 23 and 24. And as you become aware of your 24 dimensional layers, I want you to begin to look at these layers as if they are transparent all around you. I want you to begin to collect and observe all the fractals of yourself in this moment and any other moment that you pick up in these layers. All the fractals of yourself that are afraid of love, that are incapable of love. Go ahead and see all these parts of you. As you observe the parts that come forth, you also learn about parts of you and your perceptions around love. Your limiting beliefs. As you witness these fractals of yourself, just observe their relationship with love. Go ahead and allow yourself to notice, what is it that you need collectively in order to be able to embody unconditional love. Where do you need to alchemize lower thoughts, emotions, beliefs into something creative? Where in your life are you not creating? Breathing. And as you allow yourself to heal and integrate these fractals of yourself, fill them with this love as you see them transforming. Breathing. Allow them to merge into oneself. Releasing out of your multidimensional body any kind of emotions or heavy belief systems that have been left behind. Releasing any cords or anything that needs to be released in the body. Clear it out as well. And integrate breathing deeply back into your body. Go ahead and fill your body with love. once again, as you saturate yourself with this love. Coming into that stillness, that observation, you'll notice that it's a lot easier for you to feel love when you're in neutral observation as opposed to trying to do anything. Okay, so I just want you to notice that. And you can access that at any moment in your day. Go ahead and bring yourself back into the room, open your eyes. Okay, welcome back. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. It was such an honor to be holding space with you. And, you know, right now we are going through such a powerful and important moment in this universe. So please connect with yourself, meditate, and take a look at the messages that are coming for you, because this is part of your initiation, your evolution, your healing. And remember, the detachment of the identification of all the things that are changing in the world around us is going to be the key in the next few years in how we experience it. Okay, so let me go into the chat and get some questions. In your opinion or knowledge, are the newer individuals being born now have a different DNA? So the general blueprint of the organisms in this three-dimensional plane are all based on sacred geometry. And the geometric expression that is created for this dimensional plane is encoded with how the organism will look. Okay, so the fact that the humans are being born with 2 arms, 2 legs, you know, the head, all of that, that's the basic biology of the human organism, and that's encoded in DNA. What is different is the 80%. Okay, so the 80% that we talked about, the 2% that writes this DNA is going to be the same. But what is different is the 80% of that DNA, more of it is available. That's the activation of DNA. When more of our DNA, when we deprogram matrix programming, we activate more information of ourselves. And so again, those fractals of ourselves that we are now becoming aware of, we heal, we integrate, that's you expanding. Okay, so as you expand yourself, you expand your light, which means that you become all, because you become aware of yourself as all through past life regression, through DNA reprogramming, or whatever techniques you're using to do this integrative work. You are activating your DNA. So the child that you bring in will be a match to the highest frequency that both partners anchor, as well as the lowest frequency that both anchor, and that is a DNA formula. It is a formula for the kind of DNA access that they're able to get. Okay, so what's happening is that we are activating more, and in dream time, these children are really reaching higher dimensions. They can remember everything. Ancestral memory is the key to understanding how much of your DNA is active and how much work you've done. And somebody that explains that really well is my dear friend Dan Winter, who is incredible at talking about the wave, that we are going into a wave frequency that allows us to access the ancestral memory. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. When you come into that centripetal spin, you're going to remember all of these fractals of yourself that we were talking about. So that's exactly what we're doing when we are integrating fractals of ourself. Okay, so I just want you to remember that when you're doing your healing work. This is the holographic memory that becomes available to you when you access this wave. It allows you to navigate. Okay. All right, so let me come over here to get out of this. And Angie, thank you so much for that super chat. So sweet. What could calcification in the back of the third eye, eye and throat in both sides mean? So yeah, so any kind of calcification is just belief systems that we are not releasing. We're not letting go of some kind of belief system. Some belief system we're holding on to. We either don't feel safe letting go of the belief, and it's become like a survival mechanism. So we just want to be aware of, what that is. What are we holding on to? What is the best way to support my young adult offspring who is seemingly stuck in cycles of self-loathing? This child of mine is a trans person back at the family home since COVID. It is heartbreaking to witness. She is committed to not hearing any assistance I may offer. How may I support? Okay, absolutely. So first of all, this is a very interesting thing. Most of the work that we do with children have to be done between the womb to the age of 7, okay? So, because a lot of us, we're just becoming aware of this information, we in vivo, in this present moment, have to begin to deprogram our own programs in which we fall into programs of helplessness, okay? Are we self-loathing in some way? Do we fall into those programs? Okay, what do we need in order to embody empowerment? And what happens is that when you do that shadow work and you find your answers, you embody that. You become an example. And the example is not just, this costume that you're wearing. It is a vibrational emanation that changes the frequency of the whole household, because now the way that you communicate with others is at that level. You are coming from the place of, let's say, self-love, self-acceptance, self-empowerment, harmonious integration internally, harmony with the external, not in a state of separation or beliefs of separation that allow you to hold space. And that example, you are living a life of peace, of harmony, of health, of vitality, abundance. And then the other person, the child or a partner or a family member that is now in the presence of this, begins to shift themselves, okay? They shift that frequency. Now, the other part of this is doing contract work. So because of the law of free will, we cannot change anyone. We cannot heal anyone. Only when they want to heal can they heal. That's the law of the universe. How do we work with this when working with especially family members? When we work with family members, they are an extension of us, period. They are one energy. But we still practice the law of free will by not interfering with their lessons. You see, they have adopted belief systems, so everything they're experiencing is part of their lessons, or whatever they need to experience in order to wake up consciousness or not. It's their choice. Okay, so how do we work with this on the higher level? The only thing we can do ethically is working on higher levels. What we want to understand, what is our participation in the creation of these programs? And that can go back to the womb. Let's say as a mother, when we had them in the womb, how did we participate to the belief systems that they're now playing out in their life? This is important because you're going to be able to see things from their perspective. And when you begin to see things from their perspective, it allows them to be seen. Most children or young adults that are having difficulty breaking away from patterns don't feel seen, don't feel acknowledged. They feel judged, they feel separate. And the poor children, they never had the tools to be able to get information enough to be self-sustaining, where they now know that they are the source of all their needs. Their needs can be met by themselves. We help solidify the belief system, compartmentalizing our roles as parents and children, but we're also contributing to their suffering by doing this. Because actually what has to happen is that this child has to come into their whole self, detached and not identified with the parent or the father or society or the community. They have to come into their own source. So on the higher level, in your meditation, I want you to work on your own personal blockages. And I want you to identify our role in the participation of creating these programs. How are we the same? This is where we reunify ourselves really quickly, because we realize they are the mirror Okay, not especially for our children, they are literally our mirror. And especially the things that trigger us are things that we need to heal within ourselves. Okay, so the next part that needs to look at is on the higher level. Once again, in your meditation, once you identify our contribution to these programs, what contracts do you need to dissolve? So let's say, for example, this is just an example. I don't know your story, Jessica. I just know this is an example that's very common. Let's say we feel afraid. We felt afraid of bringing a child into the world. Okay, we felt afraid, and so we weren't ready. And so in the womb, we have constant emotions of anxiety. The child is absorbing this, it becomes her environment, and she creates really strong fears around living, being accepted, being wanted, being a burden, being, like being a full integrated self that can actually co create in this world. So this program turns out that we adopted from our parent, and so on and so forth. So this is a contractual agreement, a perception that has to be dissolved. We need to identify what we need in order to believe the opposite. Okay? What is the most creative opposite belief system, the most healthy, expansive, unifying, loving thought form that can be created that's the opposite of this belief of being unworthy, let's say, or not ready, or not prepared, or fearful? Okay. And when you identify that, when you learn and teach yourself that in your meditation just by observing, what will happen is that your agreement will begin to dissolve, and therefore you're going to see all of the participants that have been affected by your creation of this agreement in front of you, and your daughter or son or person that's there with you will be in that group. Now, even now, when we have children that have, let's say, different trans, for example, in your example specifically, this is also another manifestation of the breaking of the matrix. We are dissolving, and this soul is so powerful enough to come embodied with this life path that is designed to break everything of comfort that has been held in suppression in your bloodline, in your ancestral lineage. That's really huge. It's a huge responsibility for this individual. So we have to support that individual in coming into unity consciousness in order to avoid suffering, subconscious states of suffering, helpless, and separation that we're holding and they're holding, in order to allow them to come into their all and nothing, this source embodiment. Okay, so as we hold space, breaking those contracts in meditation will change and shift the vibrational frequency that you are holding, the vibrational frequency of the house that you're sharing, and it will begin to awaken dormant DNA in the other person through the field, okay? Because you share DNA, like literally your DNA is in her and her DNA is in you because you're the mother. This is only true in mother, parent, child circumstances. Actually, it's true in all of them, but I can't get into all of that right now. But in family circles, it's easier to do this kind of close-knit energy work, okay? And I will do a video on that separately. But essentially, you are clearing those contractual agreements that will shift the perception of the whole family. This is how we heal the whole. Okay, it starts with us and it goes out into our family and then it goes out into the collective. Okay, so little couple things. I hope that helps, my love. Charles says, in order to move towards and embody unconditional love, you mentioned that we have to do shadow work. How can we do that? Are you addressing that with your coming workshops later this month? So everything I talk about on this channel is about shadow work and is shadow work. In the meditations, I offer a light version of that shadow work in order to observe through the emotional body the triggers that you are having. So the gateway to shadow work is your triggers. What triggers you? What takes you out of balance? It's that simple, and it's also that hard. That when you identify a trigger, it can be something so simple. It can be somebody at the cafe didn't throw away a piece of paper. And boy, does that really make you so angry. And when you go into that emotion, you discover that mother or father, didn't care very much. And when people are careless and they do careless things, it makes you feel abandoned, for example. That is the shadow work. What do you need in order to no longer feel abandoned? And then when someone leaves a piece of paper or throws away a piece of paper, you don't feel abandoned. This is how you change yourself, and you change the world around you as well. So this constant kind of integrative work is what I do in my DNA reprogramming sessions. And I also address it through hypnotherapy in a different way. Okay. In hypnotherapy, we are accessing our higher self. We are connecting with the higher self, and we essentially activate through our highest truth. It can be incredibly profound. But I find that the most lasting, integrative, practical, embodied manifestation of work is the actual shadow work through DNA reprogramming. Yeah, so if you guys want to get a session with me, Tadas, you can go ahead and schedule through my website, okay? In your opinion or knowledge, are there newer, I already answered that. All right, let me see what else. Is praying for others against the will, or does it help? This is a very important question. We are healers, okay? We are healers because we have the power to heal ourselves. So if our intention is a vibrational frequency, it is an electric charge that either conducts magnetic shift or contracts, right? So if we are cultivating ourselves into a state of love and coherence, we become a centripetal life force that then co-creates. So if you're praying in this state of coherence with yourself and the whole, then you can heal someone else. So in the same way, your intention behind what you're doing is really important, but it's based on the shadow work, the amount of deprogramming that you're doing in order to be able to come into those implosions that literally make you a magnet of manifestation and creation. Okay, so without that shadow work, you are just depleting life force. And if you're not clear about what love is and what fear is and the differences between them, your prayer might just be rooted in fear. And it might be like, dear God, please help me. Dear God, please help others. But there is no bioelectrical connection with the parts that manifest shift change in the collective. Actually, the emotion that's creating in that moment is helplessness, for example. And this is deeply connected with entities that become present. Some people, they're super psychic, so they begin to see entities like angelic beings or other beings when they're in deep states of need or urgency, deep states of problems and need help. And a being will come. A being will come, they will manifest, and they will provide support. Now, this is a contractual agreement, okay? And we have to be aware that that exists. Sometimes we make contractual agreements from a lower state, and we're bound to the consequences of those desires. When your intention comes from desire, it's always going to be a contracted creation, and it usually will end up in more suffering. Okay, so we have to know. So the way of creating healing in the universe is by understanding how to access compassion. Sometimes when people are going through hardship, that's the best thing that can happen to them. Sometimes they need to go through that toxic relationship in order for them to realize how worthy they are. Wouldn't you want that for the person you love? But only when you understand love and fear, light and dark, will you be able to know that and to support what is right? In other cases, this, let's say this friend of yours is in a terrible relationship and it's just going towards death. We have to have the willpower, the compassion, and the strength to help in that situation. And we will always have the wisdom to know exactly how to help when we're coming from the greater of things. Okay? And I've experienced that in my own life very vividly. And I see it in the lives of my clients all the time. Our discernment to understanding how to help has to come from a higher place. It can't come from self-serving and the ego. And it can be very tricky because, sometimes the good things are covered in sugar, and sugar is really bad for you. You need to know how to discern that. Okay. um, Essentially, we want to know what is truth. So we got to work on accessing truth and how to come into the highest good for ourselves and the whole, from a place of not self-serving. Okay. Okay. All right, guys, I love you very much. You guys are incredible. Thank you for your incredible work, the shadow work that you're doing, the incredible light that you bring into this world. You guys are the new human, and it's such an honor to be able to be sharing space with you here. I want to thank you so much for joining me, and I will be back. And I actually recorded a very powerful meditation on the beach the other day for the new moon. But unfortunately, it didn't record the whole thing the way I wanted it to. So what I was saying in that meditation is that we're starting a new challenge that I'm going to share with you guys for this month because of the major shifts that are happening. So please do join me for that. I will post about that soon. Also, I'm having a sound bath in Fremont at the end of this month. If you are here in the Bay Area, please join us for that. It's going to be a very powerful vibrational clearing. We're going to get into some emotional patterns, but it's all based around this surrender and release of attachment to things. We're going to be aiding that. I also have a workshop, a 2-day retreat that I'm hosting with Portal to Ascension about alchemical transformation. So I want to invite you to come to that. Please do join me for this. It's going to be a very profound, I'm going to get into really a very structured guideline as to how to do this alchemical transformation and integrate it into your life. So I'd be really happy to hold space for that. And you can register at the link below. I will put the links below for you. I want to thank you again. I love you so much. You guys are amazing. Thank you for your questions, and I will see you soon. Much love. Bye.